Okay, this is my second attempt at this. I had to delete the original part 2. Didn't get to talking. I just got madder and madder. And as you can see, the location has changed because people don't know how to respect the freaking lights that I have cut on, so people know that I'm actually making a video. Alright, you guys probably heard that when you heard me holler, I know y'all seen no damn lights. Anyway, so, one, I'm going to tell you a few things about me that made me think that when I made that video, if it was right or if it was wrong, or if it was racist or not. So, first thing you gotta understand is that I am multicultural. I am part native, I am part black, I am part white. I am part white, I am part black, I am part native. I am part black, I am part white, I am part native. No matter how you slice it, those are the three heritages in which I have. So, to match part 1 of the video, because I don't have my phone with me to redo all that shit, because I'm not redoing it, and I hope to not have to redo this video. But, you know, one bad experience will fuck your life up. Alright? A lot of people don't think that it's only one, but one is the key essence to one bad experience that will totally fuck your life up. Alright? I'm going to angle this computer this way, so if anybody has to come over there or anywhere else within the facility, did you only get to see me. Alright? And I just stepped on a worm. I'm hoping that you're not dead, pal. And if you are, may God protect you in the afterlife. Okay, so, 1. Throughout grade school, my very first crush was a girl who was half Eskimo and half white. To this day, I still not sure if she exists. Her name was Jillian. I do not remember her last name, unless I'm suffering from the Mandela effect. Alright? Go Google the Mandela effect. That way we don't have to go into a long story about the Mandela effect. After Jillian, I only started messing with black girls. Because Jillian was in kindergarten. And in kindergarten, you're a child, and you don't know racism. Alright? You don't know the difference between boys and girls all the way, except for that they use the bathroom differently than we do, and they don't go into the same bathroom that we do. Alright? So that's what you know in grade school. Alright? So about first grade, started messing with black girls. Didn't really know that I was mixed. Because a child sees their parent the same way everyone else sees their parent. That is my parent. We don't check skin tones of our parents. We don't do that. We see our parent, we love our parent, and if we've all been blessed, we have parents who actually love us. Alright? To say anything less would be to tell you a lie. As I grew older, I found this out. My mother and I don't have the best of relationships. I'm not going to lie to y'all about that. Certain family members and I don't have the best of relationships. Again, not going to lie to you about that. I do not have it easy. Period. I've never had it easy. Especially after certain siblings were born where shit went more into their favor versus my favor. The reason why I changed that power cord is because I paid $80 for this thing, and I'm not loaded with money where I can just replace a power cord every time it fucks up. So, let's see. First grade. I started messing with girls that were a little darker than me, and it wasn't that bad. Second grade. Started messing with girls that were darker and lighter than me. Again, it wasn't that bad. However, as I got into the second grade, third grade, fourth grade again, and fifth grade, this is where shit went to hell in a handbasket. Okay? So, as you know, I'm very light-skinned. My true color is right there. You can see that line of difference. Alright? You can see that. This is homegrown brown. Working outside, not wearing long sleeve shirts outside of wintertime. As you can see, the inside of my arm matches the top. Alright? This arm specifically, I've had first degree burns here. Still got the scar on my shoulder. You can barely see the scar on my forearm. And that's another story that's irrelevant. So, I had crushes on these girls who were lighter than me. Well, Not actually lighter than me. They were about my complexion, maybe a little darker. This is where it started. One girl was named Lily. The other girl was named Sony. I'm not giving last names because I ain't about putting everybody else's business out there. You know, I generally don't give names. And usually when I made these videos before, I only used their initials. Lily's last name starts with a T. Sonny's last name is the same as mine. My government name, not Grey Wolf, but my government name of Williams. Both of these girls were the first bad experiences of me being mixed. Both of these girls who were black possibly mixed themselves, but they didn't have mixed features outside of light skin tone because very few, and this is not scientifically factual, very few Africans are lighter than me. The Egyptians, on the other hand, different concept because some Egyptians are lighter than me. Alright? They're not white, but they're exceptionally light. I don't know how that works. I'm not a scientist. We are not going into the genealogy of that shit. Just know that there are very few people in Africa who are lighter than me. Alright? And if you're African and I just offended you, I'm sorry. Take it as a grain of salt. But factually speaking, I haven't met too many Africans lighter than me from Africa. I got nothing against Africa. I'm never going there unless they offer me a really good job at a TV show with really good pay so that I don't ever have to leave. And I don't have to worry about never working again. Other than that, Africa's off the market. So, these young ladies, forever and a day, kept telling me, you're not good enough for black girls. You're never going to be good enough for black girls. Because you ain't black. You're half white. And the derivative that they used was spelled H-O-N-K-E-Y. Or H-O-N-K-Y. I don't spell very well, but if you can spell, I didn't say it, I spelled it out. The other word, another derivative, let me spell it, N-I-G-G-E-R or N-I-G-G-A-R. All four of those words are bad. And you should probably never call anybody those by any means necessary. That's not something that you do. In our house, we never use the N-word. Ever. Back when we were kids. Now, as adults, everybody and their mama use that damn word, and I can't stand it, and I don't call people, I don't say, hey, what's up, my N-word. If I know your name, I call you by your name. This is the same concept I have with people who talk about this pronoun bullshit. No, labeling you is not what I do. If I know your name, I'm going to call you by your name. If I don't know your name, I'm going to call you something. I just reposted on TikTok, and I believe the person said they were a transgender man. So I put kid because I don't know what the fuck to do with that. I support them, but I put kid. Alright, we'll worry about that in another video. So, is sexual preference racist or not racist? I'm on the fence because I don't think it's racist. Doesn't mean I'm wrong, but I don't think it's racist. So, Lily and Sony, for the 2nd and 3rd grade, in my first year in the 4th grade, because they passed and I didn't, hounded me about how non-black I am. In a quest to prove my blackness, I started cussing more. I didn't do bad things in school outside of cussing, and I did everything that I could to prove that I was black. Everything to prove that I was black. To no prevail with either one of these two beautiful young women give me the time of day. I had a girlfriend named Emily who was darker than both of them and me. Emily went out of her way to make me jealous, and it worked. She would do dumb shit. Now we're in the 3rd grade, but emotions are real. Anybody who tells you that a kid's emotions are not real are fucking stupid. Alright? So, Emily would do things like walk down the hall and let her pants drop and show her underwear to everybody. My evil, young, jealous ass didn't like it, and I let her know. And then eventually Emily moved away and we were no longer boyfriend and girlfriend. Which was a blessing for me because then I had to be stressed out over her doing dumb shit and having all my friends say, ooh, we seen your girlfriend's butt, we seen your girlfriend's butt. And then when I got into the 4th grade, the 2nd time around, I had realized 2 things. 1, I'm never going to be black enough for black girls or black people in general. Once I accepted that, that was great. Why I accepted it? Because between the 2nd grade and the 4th grade, there was a race war between blacks and whites in my school. It never got physical. It only got verbal. And the black people would tell me, we don't want you on our side because you're half honky. Yee-yi-yi. I said it. I can't take it back. I said it. But I can respell it. They literally called me Honky. Alright? This is going to come back to bite me in the ass later, but I'm not going to use the N-word. The white people said the same thing, only with the N-word. We don't want you on our team because you're part Nigger or Niggar. Now, I did slip on the tongue with the white derivative, and I do apologize for that, but I've said it, and I'm not going to delete this video. What's done is done, and it can't be undone. I meant to spell it, but it slipped out my mouth instead. That's my explanation. Take it or leave it. And this went on from, like I said, the 3rd grade to the 4th grade. By the time we got in the 5th grade, you don't know how many times the word half-breed has come off these people's life. Jay's a half-breed. Jay's a half-breed. Jay's a half-breed. So we get to the 5th grade. I know you're thinking, what does this have to do with sexual preferences? We're getting there. 1 second. I got into the 5th grade. I really liked this white girl, but she didn't really like me. So I didn't get mad about it because I was still trying to date black girls, so the white girl was more like a friend to me anyway. And in turn, she said the same thing. So men and women can't be friends, or boys and girls can't be friends. Anyway, I believe that white girl may have died years later. I'm not going to swear to it because I can't remember her name at the moment. But another white girl back in the 4th grade, maybe it was the 3rd grade, her name was Amy. Her last name starts with a C. She put a pencil in my back. A very sharp pencil in my back. My shirt that was white was crimson red by the time I left. The white teacher, Miss Davis, never paid attention to that. Alright? Anyway, I know that's irrelevant to you, but I just want to put it out there. So, we're in the 5th grade. Miss Conrad, God bless her, and God rest her soul. If she's not dead, then God bless her. But if she is dead, God rest her soul. And I thank her for opening up my eyes to my indigenous heritage. Because I didn't know I was part Native at all. Because my great-grandmother on my father's side, Native. My grandmother on my father's side, either half Native or all Native. I didn't see Native because I was taught Natives didn't look like that. I was taught that they wore feathers and did that shit. We never did that in their house. My grandmother on my mother's side, she was adopted and raised by black people, but we're not sure if she was Native or half Native. But everybody is half Cherokee, and we also have Cherokee. So, I know you're thinking, relevance. I'm getting there. Genetically, on both sides of my family has had mixed relationships. That's your relevance. So, my grandfather, who was black on my father's side, obviously thought that my grandmother was exotic and decided I'm going to have this Native woman as my wife, which he has children with, which my father is one. Now, here's where things go from fucked up to crazy. So all of my father's people, all of them, my father, my 2 uncles, my 3 uncles, all of my aunts, they all look black. Every fucking one of them looks black. And maybe my Aunt Bessie, not so much, because her skin tone was like one of the lightest. And my Aunt Myrrh, her skin tone was also the lightest. But all my other aunts were dark skinned, darker than me. So, when they all started having kids, except my Aunt Ruth and my Aunt Myrrh, because they didn't have any children, and with the exception of my cousin Bill and his sister Jackie, and a couple of the Clarks, were all light-skinned. My cousin Sherry, she's light like me. Her brother Bruce is a little darker than me, but still light. My big sister, light like me. Me, I'm light. A couple of teen kids were brown. A couple of, I think maybe one of Phyllis's kids was light-skinned. But our generation were all light-skinned. Almost all of Bessie kids are light-skinned. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Donna. Hi, Annette's children. and that passed away sadly. So generations, your skin tones change. All right, that does not make us any less native, but also all of my generation have native features, where the generation before us, few of them have native features. You see where I'm going with that? So your relevance. My grandfather basically had native fever, which is a side learned for jungle fever. My great grandmother on my father's side apparently had native fever or black fever or whatever fever, so that my great grandmother, who was native, didn't date native men. If she did date native men, I don't know how that worked out. Anyway, her and her brother John, I don't know what John married because I never got to meet him or any of his children. But I do know that Mama Ada didn't really like white people. Alright? So I'm pretty sure that her first child was not by a white man. But she also had 5 daughters or so, because there was my Aunt Carrie and another aunt whose names I can't remember, but she had mostly girls. Alright? Who mostly married black men. Okay? So that's how we got our darker skin. Because my grandma Ada would be considered a light-skinned native. Because she was way lighter than me. She was almost white passing. Now, on my mom's side, my mom's dad's dad was white. My mom's mom is God only knows what. But my mom's mom is brown skin. But she has native features. But she was adopted and raised by a black woman. So, what do we do with that? Why is this important? This is important because reference to sexual preference. I am genetically breeded to date outside of my race. So again, this is why I am on the fence on preference being racist. Because I would not exist without preference. Okay? That's the reference for video 1. Now back to my story. I did everything I could to only date black girls. I've even been so much told by white girls, oh, you just think you all black, so you don't want to date white girls. That's like, well, it's not that. It's just that I kind of want to stay true to black on black. But the problem was, black girls always gave me the finger. The ones that didn't give me the finger were girls who were basically not really attractive by my eyes. I'm not saying they were ugly, but they just weren't attractive to me. They were pretty women. They just weren't my eye-catching girls. So I didn't really date them. And I had 2 summer romances. And these 2 summer romances ruined me for black girls for the rest of my life. Alright? There was a girl. I'm going to leave off her last name. I hope she's doing well. Her name is Torsha. Not Portia, Torsha. Just like Portia, but with a T. Don't ask me to spell it because I can't. Her last name starts with an S. And I was in love with that girl. She was just a little darker than me. And I was on her like stank on shit. Then one day she decides, you need to give me some space. She goes, Jimmy, you need to give me some space. I was like, okay. How much? She's like, I need a week away from you, just a week. And it was kind of difficult because my dad lived in the same neighborhood as her, and it was a summer romance. Had I known that that week was going to be the week that ended our relationship, I wouldn't even have done that. I would have fought to keep her. But what happened was, which is still heartbreaking to tell, I gave her a week. Hung out with my bro Lloyd whenever he came to Miss Ruffin's house, which was next door to Torsha's house. And, we did G.I. Joe stuff, and then one weekend Lloyd couldn't come, and I had to be by myself, so I played G.I. Joes by myself. Torsha comes knocking on my door with her cousin, who's not her cousin. So, I open the door. My dad's there with me. It's like, hey, baby, how you doing? I'm fucking 12 years old. Fucking know about some hey, baby. But anyway, 12 years old. And I'm head over heels in love with this girl because 2 years before that, I lost my virginity to a black girl who was 12 when I was 10. So I'm taking things slow with her. Because one, at 12 years old, y'all really shouldn't be having sex in the first place. I can go back in time and tell myself that now and probably get my ass kicked by a 12-year-old. But I didn't want to be the over obnoxious guy who wants to have sex with girls. You know, I was 12. Still wanted to have sex because I knew how to do it now. But, you know, you gotta take your time. And she brought her new boyfriend on the porch, disguised as her cousin. My dad went to go get some snacks, and she broke it down to me. She was like, look, in this week that I've been away from you, I have decided that I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. And this is not my cousin. This is my boyfriend. That wasn't too hard. Woo. That wasn't too hard for my 12-year-old brain to comprehend because I'm far from stupid. But my 12-year-old angry kung fu attitude didn't take it that way. The word bitch was coming to my mind, but I never called her that. I wanted to, but I didn't because my dad and my mom raised me better than that. So I was like, okay, I think y'all need to leave. I tried to be as respectful as possible. I let her walk out the door by herself, and I looked at her boyfriend, and I said, oh, you was a bold one. You ain't leaving out of here the way you think you're leaving. You going on the James Williams Express. And I took my boot, boom, kicked his ass right off my porch. He skinned his chin on the ground, because we had like a step, and then you step into the porch, it's like 2 steps, and then you step in the porch. So he missed the 2 steps and hit the gravel driveway. And he got up and looked at me and was like, let's go. You want to fight? You bad enough to come onto my porch, take my girl from me? Let's do this shit. I guess she forgot to tell you that I know karate. So he's like, oh, damn, man. I said, nah, oh, damn. Let's go. You want to fight? And then I looked at her and I said, you better hope that he's worth it. So here's how this is going to work. If I see him on this block ever the fuck again before I go back to Charlottesville, I'm going to beat his ass every fucking day until he can't do shit. I'm going to make sure that his dick doesn't function. I'm going to make sure that he's not able to breathe. So whatever you've been doing with him for the last week, I hope it was worth it, because I'm going to fuck his shit up. So he never came back, but she had a little spree. And she would drive that spree past my house every day to go see this little bastard. And I tried to make her crash that son bitch. I'm guilty. I was jealous. See, this is why I'm no longer a jealous person, because I accept the wrongs that I've done. So our porch door, I'd hear that spree start up. My dad would go to work at 5. Her spree would start up at 7. And I would give up 10 minutes of Robotech to try to make this girl crash her spree. She never did. She had a couple of close calls, and I am sorry for that shit, but I was 12 years old and my heart was broken. And I tried to make her wreck that damn thing and did everything I could. When she come home, I jump out the porch. I had her schedule down packed for about 3 weeks. That was summertime before I got over it, or before my dad had a talk with me. Then I stopped. Never said nothing else to her. Never really spoke to her ever again after that shit. Ever. Still don't know where she is now. Don't give a shit. So, I got over it. But I got to thinking to myself, maybe black girls are not for me. But I didn't give up. I said, I'm going to try again. So I was popping wheelies a year and a quarter later, summertime, I'm 14. And there was this girl, her name was Sophonia. Her daddy and my daddy was best friends at the time. And my dad and her dad had high hopes on us uniting our families. In other words, getting married. Now we're 14 years old. What I don't know is, Sophonia there is seeing a 23-year-old. This would be the last black girl that I have ever dated. And if you're black and you're watching, do not take this offensively. I am sorry. I'm not dating another black woman as long as I'm breathing. I'm sorry. It's just not going to fucking happen. And you can go blame Sophonia for this shit. So, we're dating middle of summer. I believe I met at the end of June, beginning of July. And to impress her, I was riding wheelies, and I blew out a tire when I came down. Almost flipped over my handlebars. She got a laugh, I got a name, took my bike around the corner, the next day, Dad took her to the bike shop and got the bitch fixed. So for weeks on end, we were chatting, we were talking, we were trying to kiss. Because by we, I mean me. I was literally trying to kiss her every chance I got to try to kiss her. And she was darker than me. She was very beautiful. But I guess even beautiful women have secrets. And her secret was 23 years old. So one day, close to August, so that way you give a time frame of how long we had been together, for almost a month and a week or so. And so I'm walking her home. I don't know where it comes this big burly bastard on a 10-speed. That's right, on a 10-speed. With a gun. Now, I'm good with martial arts, but I can't catch bullets in my teeth. I'm not faster than a speeding bullet or any of that shit. And I have her on this side, I'm on this side. She's not holding my handlebars, I'm holding my handlebars, but she's holding my hand. And we're walking when this dude shot out of nowhere. I don't know where the fuck he came from. It's like he almost fell out of the fucking sky. And he's like, what are you doing with my girlfriend? I said, what do you mean your girlfriend? She's my girlfriend. We've been dating since June. He's like, well, you ain't dating shit now, buddy. Click. And he pulled the gun out on me. I need to slide this in. The roof might protect it. Yeah, we're gonna hope that the roof protects it, because I'm sure you guys can hear the rain. So anyway, it's got the gun on me. It's like a 25 or 22. It's a handgun with a clip. And I'm looking at the barrel now. I'm no longer looking at her. The first thing I did was snatch my hand from her, because I was figuring that if I'm going to fight, I'm probably going to die anyway, so I probably should get ready to fight. So, I'm still holding the bike with everything I have, but I snatched my hand off of her, and I'm holding the bike, because she technically had her hand on top of mine, but I slid it down the handlebar, so I'm hanging on to this bike with a death grip. And this dude is talking to me about how he's going to shoot me, how he's going to kill me, why you having sex with my girlfriend. Hell, we hadn't even had sex. Hell, she barely even let me kiss her or touch her in the whole time that we was getting to know each other, that she was my girlfriend. You know? And I was like, dude, how old are you? He's like, man, I am 23 years old. I said, well, you breaking the fucking law. She's 14. I'm 14. He said, well, in a minute, the only thing that's going to be breaking the law is your body going to be on the ground, and me and her going to be gone. So I'm like, so you're going to shoot me, even though we and her, we haven't had sex yet, but you're going to shoot me, a 14-year-old kid and a 23-year-old grown-ass man. You're going to shoot me over a 14-year-old girl that you, one, is breaking the law, sleeping with her in the first place if y'all are fucking. And me, too, I didn't know nothing about you. That's between you and her. As far as she told me, she didn't have a boyfriend. But when you're staring down the barrel of a gun of someone's boyfriend, you figured out real quick. He had her first. Without the shadow of a doubt, when I'm looking down the barrel of that gun, and the barrel's just growing, because I'm scared as shit. I know I can fight. I'm good with my shit. I'm not bulletproof, and I'm not a fucking Power Ranger. I know that. I'm also not Bruce Leroy. And I know that if he shot me, I was going to die. My dad also had a gun. So, while I'm about to get threatened, my dad cracks his gun open. My dad's shorter than this guy, so he puts his hand way up high. And he says, well, if you shoot my son, I shoot you. Now drop your damn gun. And my dad had it's a revolver pistol. It was like a 22, but he had 8 shots. He said, I got 8 shots, son. How many you got? He's like, I got 5. He said, well, you might get 1 off and kill my kid before I get 8 off into you. And so the guy uncocked his pistol and put it down. He said, now you get on that 10-speed and you roll that bitch out of here, as he opened up the door. And he was standing there, he lowered the weapon. He said, now, I'm shorter than you, but I'm a pretty good shot. I'm pretty sure I can shoot you in your dick before you shoot my son. Now, go and go now. And if I see you again, I'm going to lay your ass in the dirt. So he got on 10-speed, and he rode out of town. I'm in shock because my dad had never had a gun before in my presence. We didn't deal with guns in the house. Apparently, he had some secrets. So, he says, Jimmy, get the fuck in the house. Grab your bike, get in the house. He tells Sophia, let's go. So he still got his gun in his hand, and he walked her home. her and her father probably had a really good talk. Her and my father damn sure had a really good talk. So when my dad came home, he said, son, oh, you know you're supposed to ask a girl if she got a boyfriend before you date her. And I said, Dad, I did. She said she didn't have a boyfriend. Otherwise, I would have left her the fuck alone. Because again, my parents raised me right. You know, you don't fuck up somebody's relationship. That's just not something that you do. So, right then and there, after my dad and I had this talk, and I said, you know what? I'm never dating another black girl. Not as long as I'm fucking breathing. And I have kept to that commitment. So if you guys think that that's prejudice or racist, that's your opinion, but that's exactly what happened to me. And that is why it is relevant to video 1. Is it racist or is it truly preference? Well, I got scared away from dating black girls. And yes, I know all black girls aren't the same. And yes, I do believe that all Asian women are the most beautiful women in the world. But I never said that black women weren't beautiful. I never said that white women wasn't beautiful. I definitely never said natives or Hispanic women were not beautiful. But as far as preference goes, I prefer to date Asian women. Mostly because after this incident, I got to talk to a few women who were white. And I had a fairly decent time with relationships with them. Which I'm going to tell you another sad story in a second about a relationship gone left with a white girl. So it's not just white girls. And my ex-fiance was Asian. And I will tell you that story as well. So we have time. This is 30 minutes. So you guys are going to have an hour video of sad stories. Better yet, I'll make a third part, which would make it easier for y'all. So when I come back, I'll be talking about the white experience and the Asian experience. And then you guys can let me know if you think it's preference or if you think sexual preference is racist. Alright? So I'll be right back.